In a crazy turn of events that shook a lot of people, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, back in September 2025. The case against the guy accused of doing it is still moving through court right now, and new details keep coming out. Charlie Kirk built a huge following through Turning Point USA. He was all about getting young conservatives involved on college campuses and had a real knack for packing rooms and sparking conversations. On the day it happened, he was in the middle of a talk when shots rang out. It was sudden, it was violent, and it left a lot of people stunned. People who were there described total chaos in the moments after. Security rushed in while the crowd scattered, and some tried to help. It took a while for things to calm down enough for first responders to get to Kirk. The whole scene was captured on multiple phones and security cameras, which later became key for investigators trying to piece together exactly what happened and who was involved. What stood out early on was how fast police were able to name Robinson as the suspect. Within hours, they had released his name and photo. Reports said they used a mix of campus surveillance, witness descriptions, and digital trails to track him down quickly, instead of it dragging out for days like some cases do. Police moved fast and arrested 24-year-old Tyler Robinson from Utah. He's been charged with aggravated murder, and prosecutors are going for the death penalty. Since then, the case has been in the news almost non-stop, especially with court hearings happening recently. One detail that came up in the hearings was how the note Robinson allegedly wrote wasn't just a vague idea. It reportedly included specific planning steps and timing around the event. Prosecutors presented it as proof that this wasn't some random act, but something he had thought through beforehand. During one of the preliminary hearings, prosecutors dropped some pretty heavy evidence. They played surveillance video that showed Robinson on campus right before and after the shooting. They also played audio from Robinson's old roommate. In that recording, the roommate told police Robinson admitted to the shooting and started crying, saying he wished he hadn't done it. There were also texts to another ex-roommate that allegedly said similar stuff. On top of that, investigators say they found Robinson's DNA on a rifle recovered near the scene. Prosecutors even showed a note where he supposedly laid out his plan to go after Kirk. It's a lot of direct evidence they're using to build their case. Robinson's defense team isn't just sitting back, though. They've been pushing back on the DNA results and pointing out what they say are gaps in the video footage. The hearings have gone on for a few days now, and Kirk's widow Erica, along with his parents, have been showing up in court to face the man accused of killing him. The whole thing has obviously gotten a ton of attention because of who Charlie Kirk was and how public his work was. Some people online have thrown around wild conspiracy theories, but investigators haven't found any real proof behind those claims. Right now, the court is focused on the actual evidence coming out. A lot of those theories claimed the whole thing was staged or that Robinson wasn't really the shooter. Some said the surveillance video was edited or even deepfaked to frame him. Others pushed the idea that his confession to his roommate was forced or made up, and that the texts to his ex-roommate were fake too. There were also claims that the DNA on the rifle was planted by someone else, and that the note supposedly written by Robinson was either fake or didn't actually exist. A few voices even suggested it was some kind of bigger political operation with Robinson being used as a patsy so the real people behind it could stay hidden. But the evidence presented in the hearing made a lot of those ideas harder to stand on. Prosecutors played surveillance footage that clearly showed Robinson on campus before and after the shooting, which directly countered the claims saying that the video was faked. They also played the roommate's recorded statement where he described Robinson confessing and breaking down crying while saying he wished he hadn't done it. On top of that, there were texts to the ex-roommate that lined up with the same story. The DNA match on the rifle and the note outlining the plan both pointed straight back to Robinson acting on his own. Defense lawyers did challenge the DNA and pointed out gaps in some of the footage, but they didn't present anything that proved the evidence was fabricated or that someone else was involved. The roommate Robinson confessed to wasn't just some random person, he was someone Robinson had lived with and trusted on a deep level. Reports described how the roommate was visibly emotional when he spoke to police, struggling with what he'd been told by someone he cared about. In the end, he chose to cooperate and was given immunity for his statements, which ended up becoming one of the more personal and human parts of the case. As the hearings keep going, we're probably going to hear even more from both sides. For Kirk's family, this is about getting answers and some kind of justice after losing him so suddenly. The legal process is slow, but it's moving forward. Robinson's family has also spoken out during the hearings. They've been very clear that they don't support what he did and have distanced themselves from him completely. Reports say they've even expressed support for the Kirk family, focusing on justice for Charlie rather than defending Robinson's actions. And that's where things stand with the case right now. If you want updates on this or other big stories, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss anything. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.